We have Rafaella, ELIA, PhD candidate working with Theo. She comes from the Chios Research and Innovation Center of Excellence at the University of Cyprus. Her talk is going to be about the framework for dataset construction, including fused data from human and remotely operated vehicles. And without further delay, Rafaella, you can take over.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Today I am going to talk about the framework for dataset construction, including fused data from human and remotely operated vehicles. Remotely operated vehicles are widely used in many critical missions, and the human operator must control the ROV under stressful conditions and harsh environment. This has a risk of giving unintentional movements. So here we address the need for a control mechanism embedded on the ROV to prevent accidents. In this work, we are proposing a framework for dataset construction consisting of human and ROV data. For evaluating the proposed framework, we collected data from 6 subjects. Each subject had to perform the experiment twice in order to stimulate the fatigue that occurs under stressful conditions, and each subject had to follow a predefined course with 4 basic simple movements and to pass the ROV around the sign. I would like to mention that for the remotely operated vehicles, we used a drone as our case study, and we collected data. We collected the surface electromyograph signal and heart rate and data from the IMU of the drone. As we want to induce stress, the one repetition was the stress-free data set, and the other one was the stressful data set. A data set of irritating sounds were used, and sounds were playing during the second part of the experiment. And each subject had to fill in a questionnaire with 40 questions prior and at the end of the experiment. We annotated the data manually using video recordings from data collection. On the right, you can see the whole process for data collection. And in this slide, you can see the devices that we used, but any commercial similar device to those can be used too. In order to evaluate the data that we collected, we extracted some features from the electromyography and the signal and the ROV. The heart rate was used as a raw signal. And in order to evaluate these features, we performed a statistical t-test analysis, and we extracted the average values of the raw data and the features, as you can see on the tables on the right. In this slide, you can see the results from the statistical t-test analysis. We concluded that the questionnaires did not show any significant difference prior and at the end of the experiment, while the average values and statistical analysis showed that the data are statistically different. In the future, we want to construct a larger data set and include more physiological signals. We want to focus also on developing classification algorithms used especially for anomaly classification. And finally, we want to design a shared control mechanism for monitoring jointly the operator and the ROV and preventing such an accident. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Rafaella. Let's see, I think there is a question here. The question is, did Rafaella, ELIA extract any features from the HR signal like an HRV?
No, we used the raw heart rate.
I have one question. Did you, the processing that you intend for classification and dealing with the data sets, it's all done on a desktop, or it's not done on the ROV say itself, right? No,
it's on a laptop, but we want in the future to to implementing and run on the ROV, on the drone.
Okay, thank you, Rafaella.
I want to thank our sponsors that made this event possible. So the premier sponsors, Newton, working on automated TinyML. If you were there a few days ago, they had a keynote explaining what they're doing. Executive sponsors are ARM, Edge Impulse as well, and Qualcomm, Sentient, and then our platinum sponsors, we have Infineon and Reality AI. Gold sponsors are Latent AI, SensiML, and our silver sponsors are EMSA, Greenwaves, HOTG, Imagimob, GISO, SEED, and ST. And with that, I thank you very much for staying on till the very last end, the last day of the last session of the last day. And with that, I think we can close the forum for this year. Thank you everybody for contributing. Thank you, Andreas, for also moderating this session.